Next hour, President Biden is set to announce proposals for major reforms to the Supreme Court, an announcement that follows an op-ed this morning in which he noted the growing public distrust in the court, writing, "What is happening now is not normal, and it undermines the public's confidence in the court's decisions, including those impacting personal freedoms. We now stand in a breach." The president's reforms address the Supreme Court's recent immunity decision, calling for a constitutional amendment that limits the decision power. He is also calling for 18-year term limits for justices, as well as a code of conduct for the court. Joining us now, Democratic Senator from Rhode Island, Sheldon Whitehouse. Senator Whitehouse sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee and also chairs the subcommittee on federal courts, which makes you the perfect person to speak to about this. In part also, sir, because you've been calling for these reforms by personally sponsoring two acts addressing both ethics and term limits. Does President Biden's proposal mirror your efforts?
Yeah, his proposal is perfectly aligned with my ethics bill and also perfectly aligned with my term limits bill. So I think it's going to give a boost of positivity to both of them, and I appreciate the president stepping up this way.
Okay, you're smiling saying this, but Axios, sir, is reporting that President Biden did not consult with lawmakers on these reforms. Did you hear anything from the president before his announcement today?
We have been in regular touch with the White House about these bills and about these reforms for a long period of time. Ed Siskel, I've spoken to about them. I have zero complaints about the White House outreach. And I'm very glad that they made the decision to have the president support fixing the immunity decision, putting term limits on these rogue justices, and having a real ethics program for the court like every other judge and pretty much every other federal official.
Tough question here. What is the actual impact if it is not likely reforms like these are going to get a lot of traction in this current Congress?
Well, you push forward, you take your wins where you can. This was a win day, so I'm going to keep smiling. And the voters will have a lot of decisions to make in November. One of them is, do you want bodies in the Senate and in the House who will look into the mischief at the court? Do you want a president who's going to continue to pack the court with billionaire chosen operatives from the far right? And I think the answers to those decisions in November could empower us quite a lot. Remember how little we actually know about what has taken place over at the court because of all this secrecy. If we win the House and Republican senators can't filibuster their subpoenas, they could do a January 6th commission-style investigation that would at long last get to the bottom of this mess. And I think that changes everything once people see the facts.
What about the prospect, and I believe you've called for a special counsel investigation, have you not, into Clarence Thomas and his potential tax violations, ethics violations?
Yes, there are two possible attorney general investigations. One is the one that Chairman Wyden of the Finance Committee and I asked for, based on being stonewalled with pretty basic fact questions about what happened to the $267,000 that Justice Thomas owed for the motor coach purchase that he apparently never paid back. What's the deal there? So when we got stonewall answers, we asked the Attorney General to take a look into it. The second thing is that the Judicial Conference is looking at whether Justice Thomas's misfilings about all this were potentially willful. And if they find reasonable cause to believe that they might have been willful, then the actual willfulness determination must by law be done by the Attorney General. So they refer that over to the Attorney General. So in both of those ways, Attorney General Garland could be looking into misbehavior by Justice Thomas.
The Republican response to all this has been negative. Speaker Johnson wrote in a statement today the reforms would erode America's faith in the Supreme Court. But aren't your proposals, sir? Aren't you trying to build faith in the court?
Precisely. I think it's very hard for Republicans to find their way around this when you've got Supreme Court justices that are taking these enormous gifts worth, $250,000 and freebies of all kinds, secret payments to their wives, organized by court fixer Leonard Leo. I mean, the whole thing just reeks of corruption. And they've got to pretend to defend that in order to assuage the billionaires who fund their super PACs and funded the capture of the court. So they're kind of caught in a pickle where nothing that they say makes very much sense.
All right, Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, I know you're taking a win today, and I hope for your sake, sir, and perhaps the rest of us, that it lasts. Thank you so much.